Emeka thought it was just another Tuesday at the luxury car wash in Gwarimpa. The sun was hot enough to melt sleepers, and his stomach was making more noise than the engines he scrubbed. He was 24, had muscles hardened by hard work, and a smile that his mother always said was too handsome for a boy with empty pocket. Then a velvet black SUV rolled in. It didn't just drive, it floated. When the windows slid down, the smell of expensive perfume, sweet like burnt sugar, filled the air. Behind oversized sunglasses was Aisha. Everyone in Abuja knew her, or at least they knew her jewelry. They call her the sleek spider because once you step into her world, you never really wanted to leave. You missed the spot on the rainbow, she said. Her voice was smooth like honey mixed with ice. Emeka bent down, his heart thumping against his ribs like a trapped bird. Sorry, ma, he whispered as he polished the chrome. She didn't look at the car. She looked at him. She saw the hunger in his eyes, not just for food, but for a life where he didn't have to sweat for pennies. You have honest hands, Emeka, she said, reading his name tag. But honest hands stay dry. Do you want hands that touch gold? She reached into her designer bag and pulled out a small purple envelope. It wasn't a tip. It was thick, heavy. Come to Maitama Heights tonight. Apartment 707. Wear something that doesn't smell like soap. As she drove off, Emeka stood frozen. In his hands, the envelope felt heavy, like a stone. His best friend Tunde ran over, eyes wide. Omo, you don't blow, Tunde shouted, hitting him on the shoulder. That's one of the big moms. If you go there, your poverty is finished. But Emeka wasn't smiling. He felt a cold shiver crawled up his spine. He looked at the purple envelope. He knew that in Abuja, nothing is truly free. If she was going to give him a life of gold, what was she going to take from him in return? Emeka's room in the bustling heart of Maraba was small, hot, and smelled of kerosene. He sat on the edge of his narrow bed, the purple envelope glowing like a neon sign against his faded bedspread. He pulled out his smartphone, his finger thumbed as he typed, Aisha, Abuja sleek spider. The results flooded his screen like a Tyndall wave of gold and mystery. There she was, photo after photo, showed her at gala night in London, fashion shows in Paris, and private jet lounges in Dubai. The headlines called her the Queen of the North and her billionaire whisperer, her husband. The internet went quiet there. Some blogs whispered about a man named Chief Obinna, a powerful oil tycoon who disappeared from public view 5 years ago. Others said she was a widow who inherited a kingdom of pipelines and real estate. No one knew for sure if he was alive, hidden away, or if she had simply outgrown him. Her empire was vast, from luxury hotels in Maitama to shipping companies in Lagos. Her net worth was estimated at over 150 billion. She didn't just have money. She had the kind of wealth that could buy a whole street and turn it into a playground. Emeka looked around his room. He saw his single plastic chair, his one pair of good shoes, and a picture of his younger sister, Chidinma, who needed school fees he couldn't afford. But Abuja sugar mommy don't just give money. Tunde's voice echoed in his head. They buy people. They own you. Emeka felt a nod in his stomach. He looked at the phone again. A video showed Aisha stepping out of a gold-plated Rolls Royce. She looked like a goddess, but in her eyes, in the video were cold like two black marbles that had seen too much. He stood up and walked to the bucket of water in the corner. He began to scrub the grains from under his fingernails. "If I go, I can pay Chidima's school fees," he whispered to the empty room. "If I go, I never have to wash another car again." He reached for his only iron shirt, a plain white one he saved for church. As he put it on, he noticed a small handwritten note had fallen out of the purple envelope. It wasn't printed. It was written in red ink. "Don't be late, Emeka. I hate waiting, and I especially hate being disappointed." The clock on the wall ticked. 7 p.m. It was time to go to Maitama Heights. The ride from Maraba to Maitama felt like traveling to a different planet. As the taxi crossed the bridge, the dusty road and loud generators faded away, replaced by silent street lines with glowing streetlights and trees that looked like they were groomed by hand. Emeka stood in front of Maitama Heights. It was a glass tower and reached for the stars, reflecting the moonlight like a giant diamond. "Omo, this place is too big," Emeka whispered, adjusting his collar. His heart was drumming against his chest, so hard he thought that security guard would hear it. The gate was cold. At the entrance, a tall man in a black suit blocked his path. He didn't look like a normal gate man. He looked like a soldier. "Name?" the man asked, his voice deep like a growling lion. Emeka. "From the car wash," he stammered. The guard looked at Emeka's faded trouser and his cheap plastic watch. A small mean smile touched the guard's lips. "A boy like you, in apartment 707, you must be lost, kid. Go back to the car wash before I call the police." Emeka felt his face get hot. He felt small. He felt like a cockroach under a heavy boot. He almost turned around to run back to the bus stop, but then he remembered the purple envelope in his pocket. "I have this," Emeka said, pulling it out. The guard smiled, vanished instantly. He didn't even touch the envelope. He just saw the gold seal on the back, a tiny spider made of sleek thread. He stood up straight and pressed the button. "Go in," the guard whispered, his voice suddenly full of fear. "Floor 7. The elevator is waiting." The elevator didn't make a sound. It was lined with mirror, and Emeka stared at his own reflection. He looked like a boy pretending to be a man. The door slid open. The hallway was covered in a carpet so thick Emeka's feet sank into it like sand. At the very end was a door made of dark, heavy wood with a gold number 707. But he couldn't even knock. The door cracked open. The apartment was dim, light only by candles, and smelled like expensive vanilla and old leather. There was no TV, no loud music, just the sound of water trickling from a fountain in the corner. "You are 5 minutes earlier," Aisha said. She was sitting on a velvet throne, wrapped in a robe made of purple-green silk. She wasn't wearing her sunglasses now. Her eyes were sharp and glowing, like a cat watching a mouse. On the table in front of her sat 3 things: a glass of dark red juice, a stack of brand new crepes, Naira notes, a small silver key. "Sit down, Emeka," she said, pointing to a stool at her feet. "Before we talk about the money, I want to see if you are brave. Take a sip of my drink." Emeka looked at the glass. The liquid was thick and dark, almost like blood. His stomach twisted. He looked at the money, then back at Aisha's cold, beautiful face. Emeka's hand hovered over the glass. The condensation felt like ice against his skin. He looked at the stack of money. It was more than his father had made in a year. And then he looked at Aisha. She wasn't blinking. She was perfectly still, like a statue carved from midnight. Is it wine, ma? Emeka asked, his voice cracking. Aisha leaned forward, the sleek of her robe hissing against the velvet chair. It is whatever you want it to be, Emeka. To a coward, it is a poison. To a king, it is a power drink. Emeka closed his eyes. He thought of Chidinma, sitting in at home because of school fees. The liquid was thick, sweet, and tasted like crushed hibiscus. As soon as it hit his stomach, a wave of heat rushed through his body. His head spun. The room seemed to grow taller, and the candlelight danced like tiny spirit. Good, Aisha whispered. She reached out and touched his cheek with one long cold finger. Now you belong to the house. She pushed the small silver key towards him. It was old-fashioned, with a heavy circular head. The money is for your family, she said, her voice dropping to a low hum. But the key is for your future. Behind that curtain is a locked room. Inside that room is a man who hasn't spoken in 5 years. Emeka's heart stopped. Emeka looked at the silver key. It felt heavy, vibrating his palm. The heat from the drink was making his heart race. He felt like he was falling into a deep, dark well, but the bottom was lined with gold. From behind the curtain, he heard a sound. It wasn't a cough. It wasn't a breath. It was the sound of a fingernails scratching against a wood.